Good morning. It is Friday, May 17th, 2024. This is Option Pit Live. I am Mark Sebastian, your only option, and I am joined by the Queen of the Candles, Leisha J. Leslie. Good morning, Leisha. Happy Friday.
Good morning. TGIF is right.
Yes, it is Expiration Friday. Now, you're saying, what is Expiration Friday? I thought options expire every day. Well, they do, but this is on the third Friday of the month. That is still the day, the most important day for options because a lot of these options are older. There's a lot more open interest. So these third Fridays of the month still do have a little bit more excitement to them and can be a little bit wilder. Wouldn't you say, Leisha?
Yes. We like to think that because we remember the old days. Expiration was a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, back in the day,
It was a
options
big
only
deal.
expired once a month.
Yeah.
They didn't exist. Literally, options only expired once a month. Pretty nuts that now there's zero DTE. There's literally options expiring every single day. Now it's great. You look at what Leisha and I are doing with our zero DTE service and how happy our customers are. Leisha, you bagged what, a 500% return last week on one of your trades, and I had a nice little win this week.
You had a good one.
Yeah, zero DTE is great. However, and we're gonna talk about this in a little bit. There is a downside to zero DTE, and we'll be talking about that later in the show. For today's show, we're going to be talking about the state of the market. Alicia's going to hit on some charts. We're going to then bring in our old friend Andrew, hit on the topics that we want to talk about. We'll revisit where Alicia and Andrew think the market might be going. If we're lucky, we'll take a ride on Andrew's trading vehicle, and then I'm going to talk about maybe the downside of zero DTE before we give you what we think we're going to do for the rest of the day. So, Leisha, let's dig into it.
Always a fun time.
Oh, it is always the fun time. Yesterday, the Dow broke 40,000 for the first time. I noticed that you had your Dow 40,000 hat on, and you were throwing confetti. That was, but really, it used to, when the Dow hit 10,000, that was people were celebrating like you wouldn't believe, and 20,000. But it seems like nobody cares about the Dow Jones Industrial Average anymore.
Well, we're all sitting in our own private offices, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
We could have created a Zoom or something and gotten together and celebrated.
Yeah,
here's
big
the
party.
Part of the Dow. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Previous highs are providing that resistance, that along with that big rounded number, right? Always those rounded numbers are support and resistance levels. Be interesting which way we go.
It is. The S&P broke 5,300 on Wednesday, and then subsequently gave it right back on Thursday. What did you think of that midday, that reversal?
Well,
on Thursday, I was.
I need to correct you there, Mark. It didn't really give it all back. We're bull flagging here.
Oh.
And I have support right here at yesterday's lows. Well, just below there.
All right.
52.88, 52.90, 52.90 to 95 is some nice support on this. Let me hide this one so you can see. On our pitchfork, that's been working very well since October. This is going to bull flag. And we talked last week. I don't know if we want to say it now, but we talked last week, Andrew and I. We were 5,200 last Friday, which was right here.
Mm-hmm.
And 53 or 51 was next. And Andrew and I both said 53. Here we are. We're going to wallow a little bit. We may just slowly climb along this, kind of like we did here, along the support level here.
So you use a term like bull flag. and I have an idea of what that is. But for those of us that don't, that are kind of newer to charting, what is a bull flag?
Bull flag is when you have a very sharp, nice rally. You have a nice long green candle that's kind of like your flagpole. And then you're going to get a little few days of consolidation here. Generally, you like to see it stay above the top half of the large green candle. It can sometimes though drift a little lower, but it's just a consolidation. The market's gearing up, taking a breather until it's ready to take its next leg higher. You can have bear flags also. It's the exact opposite on the downside. But yeah, I'm thinking this is going to bull flag and we're going to take another leg higher.
There you have it. So you got a nice bull flag there. Let's dig into some of the charts that you prepared now that we've kind of overviewed the overall market. You want and really the overall market. It's hard to discuss the overall market without bonds because bonds really are the overall market. If you want to know why we had so much pressure in April, you can just look at the 10-year note. And if you want to know why the
Yeah,
pressure's come off, look at the 10-year note.
that's
Um,
right.
what are you seeing here in 10-year Treasury futures?
Well, it did break through this resistance that went back to February, 1st of February, and now it's flirting along this support resistance level. I'd say bull flagging also. Bull flagging also, unless they close back below this downtrend line, below 109. But yeah, I'd say bull flagging here most likely.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. In 3 weeks, we've gone from there's no way our rate cuts coming off the table to rate cuts might be coming back. It's really pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I'm going to be hitting on this next week in a couple of things I write, but I got to tell you, in the last couple of there's still real inflation, but there is some signs that I'm seeing that are, I mean, they have oh, that's 2025. They currently have September at about it's back up to about a 67% chance of an ease.
that's up. It was
November,
55, I think, last week.
yeah, November is up approaching 80, and they
Wow.
have December at 90%. June, which is the next meeting, is 8.8% chance of an ease. I don't think there'll be a June meeting, and they still have July at 30%.
Wow.
So there, that hopium is out there, but I'm gonna write about this next week. So if you're not following me and on my Trader's Edge newsletter, you're gonna want to. But there are a couple of signs that I'm seeing out of earnings that tell me that maybe the consumer is actually starting to take some heat, and we're actually going to visit that a touch here today when we're talking about some of the earnings results. But all right, so here's TLT. That's the basically long-term bonds. These bonds have a duration of between 20 and 30 years. I think the average duration of TLT is about 20 years. And pretty similar chart, but looks like the trend line actually goes back further.
Yeah, it does. This one goes back to December of 23. And look at, isn't that amazing? The gap
Mm-hmm.
yesterday traded right up to that trend line. Now it's going to come back and test it, which it always, not always, almost always, often does come back and test it before it continues to rally.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And again, it's because they think rate cuts are coming. Guys, listen in. Rate cut. I want to know, one, do you think there'll be a rate cut in 2024? And then two, will it what meeting will it be? Will it be July, September, November, or December? Good morning to everybody. Let me know what you think, and because you know we want to hear from you guys. Um, there
It is
is so that
Sam.
that's an interesting. All right, now the next one you wanted to look at was the dollar, and the dollar has been pretty interesting.
It has. Very nice rally off this doji. Sell off doji right at support. This tells you bullish. This is all bullishness right here. And sure enough, and here's where I'm talking about where it trades away, comes back, retests it. Nice rally. Now we're testing support again. Looks like it's holding.
Yeah,
Little
it's
pullback, and looks like it may try to rally again.
it's interesting. The dollar kind of rallied on Wednesday with the market rocketing higher post CPI. I thought that was a little strange. That's not something you normally see. You'll notice there was strength in the dollar, folks, in April. Why? Well, the dollar tends when bonds are getting softer and people are waiting to see where rates land. A lot of
Right.
times they'll go to cash. Also, cash will provide a yield. So that is why you'll see the dollar rally. The interesting piece is that the dollar rallied, and actually gold had a great April too. And gold is, I'm getting questions daily about gold and silver now in when I'm meeting with people. I don't know if you're getting the same thing.
Yeah.
There's always a group of people that are, and folks, let me know if you're a gold, let us know if you're a gold bug or a silver bug. There's always people that like gold, but I'm seeing an uptick in interest. Folks that are looking at these rate cuts. Are you interested in buying? Are you getting more interested in gold now that's had this rally? What are you seeing in the precious metals?
Well, from what I read, I'm reading a lot of predictions of gold to 4,000. I swear I've seen that a couple times. It's definitely in this nice, really nice uptrend. Right now, we're testing these previous highs, but there's no reason that it's not going to continue to rally, I would say. We got 24.33, and if we continue up here, here's 25 half going into the future. This is 27.20 up here.
That would
Um,
be that'd be a nice move.
yeah, but it's
Well,
already had a really nice move. This is 1980 down here.
oh, yeah. I mean, inflation adjusted, gold is still below where it was in the highs of, what was that, 2012 when gold blew up, something like that.
That's true.
So there it is not anywhere near all-time highs. Gold has not been a great winner over the last 10 years for our gold bugs. Lastly, if we're going to talk gold and we're going to talk dollar, we got to talk the crypto. The SEC continues to just drag its feet on listing options on the ETFs. What are you seeing here? We had our halving. What are you seeing in the Bitcoin?
Hopefully it'll only be 2 more weeks before we hear from them. So we had a little mini sell-off downtrend here, held the median line, had a little blip below it, but held this median line on this uptrending pitchfork. Very bullish Wednesday. And now this is a bull flag. This is completely, totally bull flagging. This will be a magnet here, 68.7. 68,700.
All right. So you're seeing it up another couple $1,000.
Yeah.
Dave says, he doesn't he's not a gold bug or a silver bug. However, and this is an interesting strategy, and we love when you guys bring strategies to us. When there is a fear event, he buys options on various gold miners and makes 6 to 10% that day. When we do get these fear events, you do see names like Newmont and Barrick get a nice little pop. GDX will get a big pop on some of those fear events. Kind of interesting.
GDX looking bullish also.
Yeah.
Obviously.
GDX has been people. That's the other one people want to know. When are the miners going to take off? When are the miners going to take off? It feels like they never take off. Now they are kind of getting a nice little rally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Alicia, is that every chart? We've hit a few charts that people wanted to see. If you want to see another chart, folks, let us know.
Oh, sure.
Let us know in the chat, and we'll always hit them if we can. Do you have any other charts you want to show us, or can we bring in the big guy?
Up to you. Do we want to talk individual stocks yet, or it's up to you?
Uh,
It's so funny
yeah,
too,
no.
because the two stocks you've talked about, I had already had on my list, which is funny. We both
Oh, that's
chose
that.
two stocks, so we may need to talk about that.
All right. Well, let's bring on one Viking of volatility and look at some of these stocks. Um, and I
Good
Hey,
morning.
Andrew.
Good
Good
morning,
Good
morning.
Andrew.
morning.
How's everything going?
Lovely. Lovely, lovely. It's a beautiful Friday. You look sharp as usual. Uh, all right. So the big news yesterday was Walmart. Walmart had a stronger move than Amazon on its earnings and crossed 500 billion in market cap and had some really compelling earnings results. And this is one that I'm assuming this one, Leisha, we were discussing. I want to look at this one with you guys because I'm really interested in kind of the next move here. Leisha, what does the chart tell you?
Well, look at how Walmart gapped right to the next level on the pitchfork. Close right on it. Right. I mean, well, traded lower and all that, but managed to close right on it. I think this consolidates a little bit along this line and takes that next leg higher. I
Wow.
really
And
do.
Andrew,
67 possibly.
What was your reaction to the Walmart earnings yesterday?
Well, I mean, we've talked. I think we like Walmart. You were talking about Walmart Prime or something, whatever they have, Walmart
Walmart
Plus.
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 Walmart Plus.
And like, why is Amazon worth 3 times what Walmart is when
It's four
Walmart has a
times.
global, a global real estate footprint? I mean, granted, well, Amazon is an amazing company, but from a lot of metrics, Walmart makes more money. And Amazon's worth 3 times as much. So I like Walmart. I own more Walmart than Amazon, but I don't know if that's been the right trade for the last 3 or 4, 5 years. It definitely hasn't been right. But Amazon, well, actually, since it peaked, it hasn't really. Walmart has done well the last 3 years. And Amazon peaked in 2020, and now it's back to all-time highs. So if you scooped it when it was $100, you look pretty smart.
Yes.
And Walmart's, what is it, up 15,
Six-
20% the last year, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, in the last 6 months, it's up almost 20. It's up almost 20%.
Right. DTNC is saying AWS is why. So
Yeah,
I
DNTC
totally get
says
the
AWS.
AWS.
AWS is a big piece of that Amazon valuation.
Right.
That is a huge part of it. But and Dave agrees that AWS. The issue is that Amazon. I think AWS is seeing more competition. Although AWS is very valuable. That
I mean,
said,
is it worth $1 trillion though? Or $500 billion? I guess that's the question, right?
That's a good question. One thing I would say is that if you'd asked me 6 months ago, Walmart and Amazon, it would be a layup.
Right.
With this big rally that Walmart has had this year, it's less of a layup to me than it was. I still think I like Walmart better than Amazon from a retailer side. I got to tell you, here is how Walmart Plus has arrived. Yesterday, at the behest of Lauren Sebastian, the founder of BigBlondeHair.com, I bought 2 chairs for our bedroom from Walmart Plus, which to me, that is a sign that Walmart Plus is becoming.
That is as close to hell freezing over, Mark, as we're ever going to see on this earth.
So
if you want an indicator, I'm just saying that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Scott chimed in and said it's Amazon's delivery system. Does Walmart have the same delivery? Like you here in Dallas, you can literally get something the same day, which is insane.
Amazon has an amazing logistics. Amazon is still ahead of Walmart in some of the technical side.
Yeah.
Although,
I mean, great company, no question.
Yeah.
Just
But
You know,
Walmart,
you're probably not losing if you own both. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically.
probably not.
You're right.
But if you go on Walmart Plus and you go on Amazon Prime, the experience is extremely similar now. You don't feel a very big difference at all. And the one advantage you could argue Walmart has is you can go and pick it up if you want. Like you want
Right.
it in 10 minutes, you can go order it and then go get it. That's one thing Amazon doesn't do that Walmart does. Although I don't think they still need to work on leveraging that. So there's Walmart. We're going to be hitting that. We're going to be hitting. We talked Walmart a little bit. We're going to dive in much deeper with a trade idea for you guys on our Ticker Highlight show this Monday. If you were saying, Mark, I didn't know you guys had a Ticker Highlight show. Well, then what you want to do is join the Pit Report newsletter, and you'll get our breakdown and analysis on our stock of the week and an invite to our live session we do Mondays. So make sure you are a member of our Pit Report newsletter, and you can hop on that. Number 2, NVIDIA has earnings on the 22nd, and I don't think anybody will disagree with me when I say this. The most important earnings of the season. What are you thinking for? What are you watching for an NVIDIA earnings, Andrew?
I think I think the market rallies into the earnings in general because everybody's going to be excited. And who knows? I bet I think it needs to go over 1,000 somehow. I don't know. I don't see how they're not going to be great, and everybody's going to be super excited and the whatever. So it's for right now, NVIDIA doesn't seem like they can do any wrong. So I'm going to go with the trend of, since this AI thing is, they can't make enough chips, but I don't really play the earnings per se, but I feel like at least to the run up, with the broad market should run up in kind of let's say a controlled way to the earnings at least. At least that's what I got positioned. So I hope I'm right.
Alicia, what do you think of the NVIDIA?
I'm with Andrew. I have a chart here. I'm with Andrew though. It has to at least touch 1,000. It may, gap up there, touch 1,000 and sell off possibly, but I'm with Andrew. It has to at least touch 1,000. There's no way it's not going to.
Well, the old saying, if it's trading 900, it's going to 1,000, folks. Well, back in the day when stocks were not as expensive, the saying was, if it's trading 90, it's going to 100. Now we're saying if it's trading 900, it's going to 1,000. Here's what I will tell you is that under normal circumstances, over the course of its lifetime, NVIDIA typically prices in about a 6.75% move around earnings, which is, for a stock, that's a pretty strong move to have on average. Most stocks are going to move about 3 to 5% on earnings. So having an average implied move be over 6.75, pretty big. They're pricing in about 8.5% for next week. So to put that in perspective, in terms of a point move, with NVIDIA around $950, they're pricing in an $80 move for NVIDIA. That would put it over 1,000, or that'd put it back at 800. So that I think is kind of interesting. I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, how good is good? Because AMD reported great earnings and had a good outlook, and they took that puppy to the woodshed. And I don't know that that's going to happen with NVIDIA, but I think it's a question, if you're on NVIDIA long, that has to start haunting you while you're holding it diamond hands.
I think that's reasonable. It feels like, I want to say that $80 straddle feels very fairish. Like I could easily see that number. However, if Nvidia, like the earnings are decent and they're like, and we're going to split the stock 10 for 1, then you have to close your eyes because it's
Oh yeah, it's gonna explode.
then it's going to moonshot.
All right. Now, I do want to talk about the volatility index a little bit here. But I also want to bring in, we had and I kind of neglected this in the notes, but we had this meme stock bounce, where we saw GameStop go back to $70, AMC go up to what, 10 or $12. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They were able to squeeze it for exactly 1 day, and things turned right back around. GameStop, and smartly, finally, GameStop is selling some stock this morning. I don't know if you saw that. That hit the news this morning. GameStop is selling equity, and AMC on these pops. They just went in there and said, we're going to sell as much of our own stock as we possibly can on this rally. So the good news is you'll be able to watch movies at AMC for another couple of years. Yeah, and GameStop is going to be around. And you're saying, Mark, what does this have to do with the volatility index? Well, the last time we saw these type of shenanigans, vol is low. Low vol frees up people to start playing these type of games. Andrew, I don't know if you agree or disagree that, when option premiums start getting low, that's when you can see some of this gamesmanship jump in here, and you'll see names like GameStop explode and Space and FFIE. Did you see FFIE yesterday? Folks, did you see FFIE yesterday?
I did not, but now that you're saying something, I got to look.
It's up 70% this morning. Now, before you say, wow, Mark, that's quite a move. This is some weird Chinese company. It is reverse split twice. Its high was February of 2022, and its split adjusted price on that date was $4,580. It's now $2.80. This is a UVXY type of return. But its 6-month return, holy cow, look at that. Pretty phenomenal. So yeah, we're seeing this gamesmanship. There may be more to play in FFIE, guys. Just keep an eye out for that one. And the other one that there were some shenanigans in was Space, SPCE. These meme stocks are starting to pop up again.
I thought that company was dead.
Yeah, well, VIX is back in the 12s, and so some of these shenanigans are coming back.
Well, I mean, that's also, I think the Reddit thing and what's his name?
Roaring Kitty.
Yeah, Roaring Kitty. They're squeezing, they're trying to see if they can squeeze some of these shorts. And it happens periodically from time to time. But I mean, why you're still short a $1 stock, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna want to,
That's just a funny statement.
It's right. It's the dumbest thing.
But
it is the dumbest thing.
But I agree, Mark, like the lower priced options, like, okay, they get some people piling into GME. They're still a little short interest. And, but I'll tell you what, it didn't take long for them to get liquidity provider to get the implied vols to 600%. Like they didn't even wait a day. They're they're going right to the moon.
They've seen the movie before, Andrew.
So before, you remember, it was like that kind of slow step, and then all of a sudden there were 1,000, and then you had the the soup Nazi volatility where everything was 1,000 vol and no trade for you, right?
Right.
Every option is $50. I don't care if it's $10 out of the money or $100. It's all $50. Everything's $100.
Which you can't blame them. Hell.
I know, but you don't think what's interesting is the first time we see the VIX appear to be consistently below 13 in a while, and Roaring Kitty comes back in.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence, folks. This guy is not a dummy. All right. He was a professional trader. He knows what he's doing. So there is some method to that madness. Speaking of madness, as Leisha said at the top of the show, you guys called it SPY. Now, normally we would do like a bull case, bear case, Leisha's judge, jury, and executioner. Problem is, no, I'm not shorting SPY, and neither is Andrew. But we're back. You guys asked, are we going to 5,100 or 5,300? And you both said 53. Now that we've gotten 53, Leisha and Andrew and myself, what do you think? 52 or 54?
54.
And will it be there by Friday? Next Friday,
I
when
think
we're here.
again 54. It's just there's no right now. That's the trend. Again, the Nvidia would be enough to propel us there, but I think we're going to get a decent amount of the way there in between as the market's going to kind of slowly drift up. Because you have seen when something like Walmart reports decent earnings, people love it. That gives bulls a little bit, all of a sudden you get some of the broader retail, low end retail, financials have been doing good. So it's just hasn't been tech. Everything else has been sort of, flowing up. So, hey, if people want to buy stocks, who am I to say that's a bad idea? So
this is America.
This is
Leisha,
America.
What do you think? 5,400 or 5,200?
Let's ask our
Let's ask the crowd. We asked the crowd.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
What do you think? 52 or 54?
Dave liked my
Aaron
DXY put spread. That was the biggest layup ever, though, to be quite honest.
Andrew, you're getting some shout outs from Dave Arian. He says, AG, thanks for the UVXY 33.25 May put spread. Nice. Yeah, that was a nice trade, AJ. Good job. Oh, yeah.
We got
have people in agreement.
Yeah, 54. Here's what I'll say. I think 5,400, and I'm going to do one better than you. All right. If NVIDIA earnings go right, we may be talking 5,500 next week. Next Friday, if NVIDIA earnings are knock your socks off again. All right. Remember, blow the doors off. Margin, if their margins were 70%, imagine they report margins of 80%. All right. That's where I'm thinking. All right. They have earnings that good. Then NVIDIA could catapult the whole market to 5,500 in like that. And it could be by Friday.
It is an election year.
And also
it's election year.
Are cheap too, Mark. There could be a little squeezy action on the upside because of All Solo.
Yes, absolutely. All right, now we're almost ready to take a ride with Andrew, but Leisha and I wanted to circle back on a stock that I like and where it's going. Did you have a stock that you were looking at for this week?
Well, the funny thing is, we had both. You had mentioned two stocks that I was already looking at, and they were Palantir and Intel.
Okay.
Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to take my victory lap on Triple M and Qualcomm real fast.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Show
By all means.
Go back and look at Option Pit Live, episode number 1. What stock did I tell you guys was going to explode? Anybody remember? Anybody remember? And yes, I know. I'm patting myself on the back.
That's good. You deserve it.
This was one of my more insightful takes. I miss on some takes every now and again. But does anybody know what stock I talked about on episode 1? Anybody here? All right.
I do, but I won't say.
I won't say either.
Now, the other one, and this is one that I think Leisha liked, I liked, and Andrew liked. And Andrew, you may have even talked about this in one of your vehicles, but that's Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, 3M, after a just horrid 2023. That one looks like it's waking up from the dead.
It does. And that's when I'm going to close an OP mentoring today. We're going to be called out, but it'll end up being a pretty decent win. After riding it into the dirt in 2023, so it's been a year long, what should we call it? Put ride, or, just, it was a lot of repair, basically. Basically, it was trying to rebuild a house. The hurricane knocked the house down, and it's taking me a year to make my money back. But it's going to end up being okay. But I think, they got their legal woes behind them. They have a super strong franchise. They make really good sandpaper.
They do.
If you're woodworking, they've come up with a Cubitron. It's awesome. Anyway, but I agree there. I think also too, if we have the economy rolls good, 3M does better because they have such a huge, consumer reach everywhere. So.
All right, Leisha, we're running long a little bit. So you can pick one stock, Intel or Palantir? Which one do you want to look at?
They're very similar, so you choose.
Well, Intel, I get Intel a little bit more than I get Palantir. I get the issues there. So let's look at Intel.
I had written about it last night, and then I saw that you had added it to our discussion.
Yeah.
Intel is coming up on this resistance, which is pretty good. Some pretty good resistance there. Yesterday's high. Once this closes above here, 32.28, it is probably, most likely, odds are, will rally and close this gap to 34.5.
All right. I
would wait for a close above that, though.
I'm
a close above the 32.28 before hopping in.
Intel, when it gets down to $30, always looks so appetizing. The problem is the company, if the company could actually execute, it is the most undervalued chip manufacturer out there. The issue is it's Intel, right? It's like my older son is so smart. If he could just not mouth off, his life would be perfect. Guess what?
It's typical.
All right. Speaking of mouthing off, where we'll never be a belligerent passenger? Where, when we're taking a ride in Andrew's trading vehicle. This is where Alicia and I go refresh our coffee, and Andrew takes us down a journey in his newly re-engined Honda CR-V.
Hey everybody. Do you guys have my slide? I can't remember if it's up there or not. Anyway, if you could show there we go. Perfect. All right. So what I do here is I want you to see two things. So I think we're in kind of a long decline and implied vol from the COVID crisis. 3M is, again, just like, one other S&P 500 stock. But what I want you to notice there, I drew some lines of you're seeing very, very low implied volatility numbers, making options very, very cheap. So when I spent time with my students and we're looking at kind of more long-term investment thesis, so basically today is how do you kind of choose if you want to buy a call or sell a put? And when implied volatility is super low like it is now, and we're talking probably 4-year low, what I do is I add duration. So instead of like a 1 month trade, I like 3 to 4 to 5 months, because you're paying so little money for options at this point. The protective option is very, very cheap. I mean, think of it this way. 4 months ago or 3 months ago, you would have never believed the S&P 500 would be where we are right now. What it was 400 points higher or something like that. So when volatility is very low, your time decay is extremely low in the position. It's also, you have to now think, I want to I'm into the position for a longer period of time. So I think 3M, I agree with Mark, go back to 120, 125, something like that. So you're looking at time much differently and what a stock can do. And when implied volatility is very low, you want to grab that longer duration, because again, low implied vol generally means things are kind of creeping up. You don't want short-term options. You want long-term, low implied volatility options. So my vehicle for 3M here would be long-term, just out of the money options. You will be surprised at how inexpensive they are. Again, if you think the stock's going up. And also you could buy a little protective option, 95 level, something like that. They don't cost anything. And you can hold them for months. So my vehicle is, again, when vol gets this low, you lean toward longer term, low priced options, because the liquidity providers basically have the ability to sell. And that is my vehicle today as we wrap up the show.
All right. Well, Andrew, you, me, and Hannah, our director of product development, did a presentation last night on what you're doing with VIX and SPY in a product called Weekly Profit Cycles. And one of the things we talked about is the effect zero DTE is having on the market. And one of the things that we're concerned about is that zero DTE is getting too big for the overall market to handle market maker hedging. And we're not there. But if you missed that presentation, we've got it on YouTube. We've got it posted out there. We've emailed it out. Email us, support@optionpit.com, if you want to see it. We walk through the entire process of what we're seeing in S&P 500 zero DTE. Let us know. We are kind of up against it, but long story short, I think that there is going to be some issues here. Dave, that is absolutely amazing. Dave made 100% gain on his UVXY put spread that he's really talking up that thing.
The gift that keeps on giving, that process.
Yes. Awesome.
UVXY is the gift that keeps on giving. We are up against it as we're chatting here. SPY up about, S&P futures up about 4 points pre-market. Dow looking like it's threatening 4,000. What do you think is going to happen today?
5297. So we'll finish somewhere over 5,300. 53. I'll say 5310 on a snoozer, and VIX trades 1199.
There you have it. Andrew calling for a sub 12 VIX. That's something. Alicia, what are you seeing?
I think maybe I'd say we could be up like 53.40, almost 50.
Woo!
Oh wow!
I like the way she's talking. My upside calendars really like the way she's talking.
That's only 40 points, guys. That's not a lot.
I keep forgetting because we're already at 5,300.
Right.
40 points is
40
nothing
bucks
anymore.
isn't a lot.
No. I think we're in kind of a coil mode. We're going to I'm with Andrew. We're going to kind of coil ahead of NVIDIA earnings. Wouldn't be shocked to see us maybe have a little repeat of yesterday, get a little bit of rally this morning, and then maybe a little softness into the afternoon as people take the weekend off and look at their portfolios and say, wow, we're at all-time highs. So wouldn't be surprised that happens, but this is not the day to sit there with both hands out selling. I see an inside day with Andrew, but your lips to God's ears, Alicia, because your scenario is the most fun to trade. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Folks wondering, what stock did I bring up in episode 1? Qualcomm. Take a look at the chart, and you'll understand why I'm doing such a
you got to stand on your head though and look up at the chart because it goes like straight up.
Yes. All right. So, folks, we're running out of time. It's been a fun show, and we want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Thank you for your feedback and for chatting with us. I hope you all have a great day. So for Andrew T. Giovinazzi, the Viking of Volatility, and Leisha J. Leslie, the Queen of the Candles. You notice I never use my own initial. It's kind of funny. I am Mark Sebastian, your only option. This was Option Pit Live.
Have a good weekend.
Next week we'll get that name out of you.
Calling all options and futures traders. The markets may be wild, but you don't have to be. Join the Tradier Options Summit sponsored by SIBO on May 22nd. Let's tame the volatility with expert tips and strategies on navigating volatile markets in 2024. I will be hosting this full-day virtual online event. Learn from the best. Industry leaders will share their insights, trade ideas, and strategies on navigating these volatile times. Plus, get a sneak peek into Tradier Futures, which will be launching soon. Sign up now to be part of the action. Reserve your free spot by registering at the link below. If you're part of our email list, stay tuned for your invitation and link to register. See you on the 22nd at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, sharp.
All opinions expressed by Tradier Hub contributors are solely the contributors' opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Tradier nor its affiliates and or subsidiaries. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Hub contributors as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. The contributors' opinions are based on their own personal research, but neither Tradier nor its affiliates and or subsidiaries warrants its completeness or accuracy, and it should not be relied upon as such. Any trades or positions discussed or referred to by contributors may or may not be actual live trades or positions. Such information is not intended to be financial or investment advice. Tradier Inc. is the parent company of Tradier Brokerage Inc. Tradier Brokerage Inc. and Tradier Inc. are separate entities with their own products and services. Securities products and services are offered through Tradier Brokerage Inc. Tradier Brokerage Inc. is an independent subsidiary of Tradier Inc., all rights reserved, member FINRA SIPC.